Hey guys, we are live right now. And first of all, a very warm and hearty welcome to each one of you watching this specific episode. This is Gagi this side, and with our very amazing girl Tanisha on the other end. And by the way, today is 16th of March 2025, and the time is crossing 11:30 on a very late Sunday night when the entire world could be sleeping because tomorrow is a Monday. We are here recording this very specific episode exclusively for you. And today the theme is transformations. So with that, let's start off. So Tanisha, what's transformation according to you? Let's start with that.
Lately, it feels like we are all going through some major shifts, right? Like it's not just in our lives, but whole world right now. It seems like it's an uncertain plane and there's a big transition going on. So that is really what is transformation. Everything is changing at such a quick pace. I mean, it's hard to process how things are going on. Like, you can talk about any big changes. Like, if you just talk about eclipses, for instance,
Yeah.
just recently, the like on 13th and 14th March, there was a total lunar eclipse, which is also called blood moon lunar eclipse. We all saw the pictures of moon, blood red. It was not visible from India though, but
Yeah, I
on
tried looking outside the window, but
yeah, in India it was in the day timing. So 9 a.m. to 3:30 were the timings. But it was visible from Western countries and rest of the world, which had night time at that moment. So, and recently, there's another eclipse coming, which is a partial solar eclipse, 29th March. And it's a major astrological event, like Saturn, the planet which we are all fearful of in Indian astrology and all over the world, not just like limited to Indians. But that's moving into a sign of emotions called Pisces. So that's bringing some emotional energy where all of us are going to probably take some emotional decisions. If you're not liking your career lives, maybe we'll just leave that job and try to pursue our passions. So there's a lot of things coming up, and eclipses is just one part of picture. Transformation is
exactly.
a bigger one. Like, these eclipses generally they come in pairs, creating what they call as eclipse season, which is supposed to be a time of amplified energy. Like everywhere, there's so much energy, potential for big developments, things start heating up in every space, like be it geopolitics, be it like another things in our country, in our climate, everywhere. Like
Those things come right.
it's just so massive.
So it's a couple of changes. It's a combination of changes. So the same thing, right? So transformation, according to me, for example, is the same thing, right? Changes because no matter what, change is one thing which is constant. Like life in general, be it on a human level, be it on a global level, be it even on a spiritual and internal level, it just always keeps moving. It's never constant. So that's our theme, guys. All right. So talking about transformation, let's talk about this really cool news. Cool, no rather, but it's a concerning news I came across, which was posted by the Economic Times a couple of hours ago, which told that there's this severe heat wave alert on the states of Jharkhand, Karnataka, West Bengal, Odisha, and Maharashtra. So people, viewers, if you're living in those places, make sure you take proper care of your hydration and everything in general. Also, please apply your sunscreen. Those are the basics. So, like for example, I myself live in Maharashtra here, and just sitting in my room in the afternoon for my work and everything with my laptop, I can literally feel the radiation, even though I'm here in my room, and that's genuinely very concerning. I can feel my skin burning. So for that reason, I usually just pull my entire curtain and sit so that that helps a little bit. So talking about climate change, I remember that interesting thing you were talking about, Tanisha, about the fishes. What was that?
So there's this fish called oarfish, which usually is found in the depths of an ocean. Like you can't find it on surface. It's a very large, like it's a very thin and immense, huge fish that like if you're seeing it for first time, you'll be like bizarre about it. What is this? I mean, and sometimes 5 meters long. Like that's how big talking is. Yeah. So that fish is generally also associated with doomsday. So Why is it associated with that is because like during 2011 when the Japanese earthquake, the major 9.0 earthquake hit the Japan, that time just before that happened, a few weeks before this, there were almost like 20 to 30 dead oarfishes found. So when an oarfish like this comes on the surface, it's not a good sign. These deep sea creatures are coming up, and this is just one example. There are so many other places where fishes, like a whole floor of small fishes, is just coming on the surface. It's rushing on the surface, which can be initially seen that, oh, it's Fisherman Street. He doesn't have to do anything, like just catching all the fishes. But it's not usually a good sign because then they're triggering that, okay, something is wrong beneath the ocean. That's why they're coming up. Why would they live?
Exactly, abs-
Why would they, leave their home? It's their home and they know out of water they're going to die. Still they're rushing. So that's a sign that, probably temperature is rising. And fishes, they're very sensitive. I mean, 1 degree Celsius, if there's a change of that much, they're going to rush on the surface, which is not a good sign. So, this is a bad event, and we should really do something about controlling our climate because otherwise, we're just going to face another doomsday or a disaster and regret so many lives.
That's what it's very concerning, honestly. I mean, I can only imagine that the fishes, which the major reason why they live, beneath so deep in the ocean is because that's the ideal thing, that's the ideal temperature and environment for them in order to live, as basic as that gets. But then them having to come on the surface, how uncomfortable it really must have been for them. Talking about climate change, I actually came across some video a couple of days ago. I forgot which video was that. That video was actually talking about a very interesting startups which are there in this climate change niche and which are doing some really cool work in this area. Name a few. It's Nithio, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Amp Up, Understory, Ficos, Living Carbon. So these are a couple of them. For example, Living Carbon, what it does is it develops genetically modified seedlings that can grow more than 50% faster than non-modified seedlings and can capture more than twice the carbon per acre. So, I mean, that's honestly so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, these exactly. So now talking about, you remember that Sunita Williams landing news we were talking about the other day?
Yeah. So today's the day when Sunita Williams' homecoming mission has started. I mean, they have been on that space station for, I mean, how many months? It's more than 9 months for sure. There are like three astronauts. All of them are from NASA. There's Sunita Williams, Butch Wilmore, and Russian cosmonaut Alexander. So they were actually scheduled to return to Earth way back, like just by a week and in month of June. But something happened. There was a big failure in the spacecraft that was supposed to bring them back. There was some helium leaks and some thrust of failures, which kind of like, just extended their whole stay. And the Boeing, which NASA had launched to bring them back, also was struggling. So it just came onto like SpaceX, where Elon Musk came in as a savior. And today, that mission has been initiated. Like NASA and SpaceX crew has entered the space station. So they are still not right now, like on Earth. Probably by Wednesday, which is the scheduled arrival, they could be back and they could feel a sense of relief after coming back on planet Earth. I mean, it's too much for them. They've just like, been there isn't so long.
Gosh, 9 months. I mean, that's equal to a human being giving birth to another human being. So that long of a duration. But yeah, I was wondering, what would you do if you were to get those 9 months solo somewhere? Why not up in space? So how would you spend it? Would you like?
I mean, like, initially, it feels so nice, adventurous that, oh, I'll get that opportunity. But after hearing their experiences and seeing what people who have gone there, like astronauts who have traveled there, have faced, I mean, that's not a comfortable experience. They've faced like immense difficulties. Like they tend to get a bad eyesight, dizziness all the time, and they develop some condition called baby feet, where they can't
What's
like
that?
they can't walk properly. I mean, they're just floating there all the time. So walking doesn't is not a natural behavior. Like how baby finds it so hard to start walking again. It's so hard for them because
Yeah.
in a way, a baby is also in a uterus and it's like a fluid there, it's floating there, and then it comes on the planet Earth, and then it's hard. We have to teach them back. So they're just floating and then they're used to floating. It becomes really hard for them to, you know, walk again. Their back starts having some major issues. Sitting also, which is a luxury for all of us. We sit all the time. That also becomes really hard for them.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I actually came across a clip. I mean, it's been months, but I saw there was this one astronaut who was, I think, about to speak in some media press event just after their landing, and then that person legit felt dizzy because he was unable to, find his balance after like feeling gravity at, again here on Earth. So that's something he was finding it hard to cope up. That's one thing that happened. Also, I was actually wondering, any sort of repair work that happens out there in space, it must be so risky for them, and the amount of psychological strength all these astronauts were required to develop during their training stage, because everything depends on them, and if something goes haywire, they just, there's a very high possibility of them losing their life, like very close to death kind of a thing.
I mean, you make complete sense. But then they're also lucky in a way because not every common person can go to space. I mean, you can't see Earth from so far. It's not really something that it's within your reach.
Exactly. That's what it's very interesting. Also talking about Elon Musk, he's really very inspiring. Especially that the story of his, the way he handled Tesla and SpaceX when it was on the verge of bankruptcy, and he had to, handle both of his these baby, these brainchilds of his. It was phenomenal the way he managed that. So like, acha, that makes me wonder. He's the richest man on earth, right?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself becoming a billionaire, or like what's your materialistic goal that way? What's the highest as of now you can think of?
You know, like I have no such goals in my life as yet. I'm right now in a place where I'm just looking to, have enough money and have certain kind of balance. I have other kind of goals like, going on like spiritual upfront, being more mentally strong. There's no such financial goal that I've set, which is a very big one. It's just right now very practical and basic, like a good career, at least having some stability right now. As I told you, it's a time of transformation. So I myself feel that changes and transformations are happening so quick in my life. There's no stability. So I'm just looking for some stability and some good kind of income, which is going to, make me feel better. I have no such ambitions right now, but I think as soon as the time gets stable, I'll start to develop them. What about you? I'm sorry, you are having good ambitions, like definitely.
I mean, there's nothing like good ambition, but yeah, I do. I mean, see, there's just one life, so why not as well set a very high goal and then just go for it. Give it a shot, like my own best shot. So yes, I would want to see what it feels like to be a billionaire, just to be able to, I don't know, just see what exactly happens. Even have those kind of worries, like whether what it will actually take for me to maintain that kind of wealth, and will I be able to grow beyond? So things like that, and also what kind of changes it brings into my lifestyle. How do I change as a person, even as an individual? Because what I came across a very interesting video where this person was saying that, so when more money comes into a person's life, okay, it doesn't change the person. It reveals more of what the person actually is. That's what happens. For example, if a person is more generous, they end up becoming more generous and doing more of seva and everything. But if they are more on the selfish side, then, you know, all the selfish needs also takes over. So that's how it happens, right? Also, like Elon Musk is a very incredible leader, is also what I feel. And what do you think are the key traits for anybody to be a good leader? Like, what skill is like a must have for a good leader?
I think we've come across some many good leaders who communicate and speak really well. Our own prime minister, he's such a great communicator, influences all the people, and even the prime minister of other countries like West. They are all good speakers and orators. But the problem is what they speak sometimes doesn't really come true. So I think a leader should have enough integrity. Whatever they're saying or promising should be there. Like, it should come true. Otherwise, they should not really go and promise about certain things, because many people start hoping for that. And then there's a lot of disappointment when things don't turn out that way. It leads to a lot of lack of trust. Image gets destroyed and people lose a lot of things. I mean, so it's taxing on people. And also another thing is leaders should be really, like, uh really accountable and responsible for things they do. They are at a stage where they can make decisions for others, so they should take that responsibility. And if they're failing, they should be accountable for that. They can't just shift the blame. Okay, I've done many other good things, so this is a failure. They should take the full responsibility of things. That's what I think. What about you? I mean, what do you think
Exactly.
have?
Yeah, I also feel that, of course, it's very important for a leader to be responsible and accountable with the power which they have, because there's a reason they have that power. They have promised people that they'll drive a certain kind of change. So for me, I feel the first and foremost thing which matters is, again, clarity of vision which they are promising to the people, and along with it, the integrity and taking the responsibility part, being accountable part, followed by communication, because again, communicating it to vast number of people so that they can influence the crowd in a certain direction for the betterment of the society and the world, or just anything, it's very, and like it's super important skill to have. So these are the things, honestly, I feel a leader should have and should master initially, like at a basic level.
Definitely. I agree with you. I mean, without communicating, nothing can work.
Now, for example, guys, me and Tanisha are also conversing. Now, whatever, even though this is our first very episode, we are also putting in our best in this particular episode. But it's very important for us also to be able to communicate all our ideas and thoughts clearly to you, so that, whatever sort of change we wish to bring in through this episode, which is, of course, our intentions are very positive, and you know it. So that happens in actuality. So that's why communication plays a very key role in general in our day-to-day lives, right? So cool then. Is there anything we missed out on? What do you think, Tanisha?
I think we can also talk about like the recent tariff laws which are coming really soon. On the economic front, this is a very big news. Like, we have got this announcement coming from Donald Trump about tariff rules by April 2nd. And it looks like there have already been some massive tariff increases in March itself on things like steel, aluminium from various countries like Canada, Mexico, and China. And these kind of charges can have a big impact on businesses and even the prices we pay for things. It definitely adds another layer of uncertainty. And this is a time of transition. So this news is much awaited right now. It's also highly speculated or even confirmed in a way that Donald Trump is going to also announce some massive tariff increases on agricultural products in India. So it's going to be little things gonna be heated up right now. So I don't know what sounds, but yeah,
Let's hope for the best, because why not?
yeah, I definitely.
Your the eclipse thing which you shared initially, Tanisha, that reminds me of something. So, like, I live in India. Okay, so for that, I mean, we have festivals here. So I feel the intervals between the festivals could be used as this phenomenal way to sort of see how we progress, as in basically the previous festival, for example, which we had, and the upcoming one. The time between that, we could really use it to grow and then check that how much we really transform on an individual level from festival one to festival two, and then festival two to festival three throughout the year. What do you think? That's I think a really cool metric in uh, as a self help tool, basically.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And what could be perfect time to start with this? I mean, New Year of India is coming. Ugadi,
Yeah.
the festivals. Every new year is coming in the April. Like Navratri is coming, which is much celebrated across all the cultures in India. And they're starting on 30th March. It's a big religious event. People are going to fast and have some positive vibrations. They're going to have new beginnings. So why not start it and from this Navratri to next Navratri, observing how they've grown different elements and areas of life, be it emotional growth, spiritual growth, career growth, as well as other facets of life.
All right. So I think we are done for today, right? Tanisha, that's it, I guess. So
Yeah, it's enough of the knowledge for you guys. We don't want to overwhelm you. So just see and let us know what you think about it. We want to hear from you. I mean, you're not allowed to just watch it and just leave it. Let us know, comment about what you think, and if there's something that you want to add, because we would love to listen what your opinions are.
absolutely. So yeah, because since today's theme for this episode was transformation, so let's just transform everything around us. Because you see, each and every one of you and us out here are leaders, and we are capable of driving in some positive change. Because this whole dream of a better world isn't a lie; it's a reality, and we are very much capable of bringing and driving that change. So let's do that. Let's make this world a better place. So cool, folks. Then thanks a lot for being a lovely audience. Thank you, Tanisha, and just everything in general. And also, as Tanisha told, please let us know in the comments below your thoughts on the topics which we have discussed. We would love to hear from you, and both of us will be reading it and also replying to your comments. So just feel free to write your mind out. And also make sure you subscribe to not just my channel but also Tanisha's channel. We'll just put her link as well in the description box below, so make sure you check it out. And the resources to any other the links to any other resources we discussed in this video will also be shared in the description box, so you can check that out too. And yeah, make sure you follow us, make sure you subscribe us. Why? Because we will be coming up with more such phenomenal episodes where we'll be conversing on topics that actually matter, that actually need to be talked about, rather than some lame things, right?
That is what people,
Yeah,
that energy.
absolutely. So cool then. Best wishes to all of us. That's a wrap. Bye bye.